This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. 26% of Americans recently surveyed have avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of being judged. Let's break the stigma surrounding seeking support. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/super today for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/super. What if Hermione didn't catch Rita Skeeter? Hey, brother! Guys, we all hate Rita Skeeter. She lies, she twists words, she's got a personal vendetta against good hair, crocodiles, and basic journalistic ethics.
But of course you know that, don't you?
But here's the twist. What if Hermione didn't stop a liar when she captures her at the end of Goblet of Fire? What if she silenced the one person who could have exposed everything?
Me, myself, and I want to know.
Because right before Hermione catches her buzzing around in beetle form on the windowsill, Rita had a front row seat to one of the most explosive, juicy, secret-laden conversations in the entire series. I mean, you've got Dumbledore, Fudge, Harry, Sirius Black, Death Eaters, Animagi, Veritaserum, Voldemort.
Concerned.
It was all there, ready for a quickly quilled quote, a headline, and a front page. So, what if Hermione, in trying to shut down the gossip, also shut down the truth? Take this moment from earlier in Goblet of Fire. "I knew it," said Mr. Weasley heavily. "Ministry blunders, culprits not apprehended, lack security, dark wizards running unchecked, national disgrace. Who wrote this? Ah, of course, Rita Skeeter. That woman's got it in for the Ministry of Magic," said Percy furiously. Right away, she's slandering the good Arthur Weasley name, something I'm sure we can all agree that we will not stand for. And yet, she's not wrong about what happened. Like, she's slanted and biased, but at least in this case, accurate. It's just that as the story unfolds, it seems like she's always on the opposite end of what we, the readers, are hoping for. But with so many big truth bombs dropped in one conversation, you have to wonder, did Hermione capture a menace, or did she trap the best chance the wizarding world had to learn the truth a year earlier? Today, we find out. So, is Rita Skeeter truly evil, or just a chaotic, neutral, clickbaity influencer who always seems to be on the wrong side of Harry's opinion? Take, for example, when Harry gets selected to be in the Triwizard Tournament. Harry doesn't want to be in the contest. He didn't enter his name and doesn't know how it got in there.
Because you're no ordinary boy of 12, are you? 14.
On the whole, this reporting isn't nearly as evil as it is just irritating from both Harry and our perspectives, because she wants nothing more than to launch him into the limelight, which she does, while also misrepresenting his feelings about everything from the tournament to his parents.
My eyes aren't glistening with the ghost of my past.
But at least she's on his side this time, like, kind of, right? A little. It's iffy.
Everyone loves a rebel, Harry.
From there, though, she starts taking shots one by one at Harry's allies. Not because they're friends with Harry, just because it's juicy headlines, man. Hagrid falls first to the Dumbledore's Giant Mistake article, which also throws Dumbledore himself under the bus. Something Rita loves doing, incidentally. "Enchantingly nasty," said Dumbledore, his eyes twinkling. "I particularly enjoyed your description of me as an obsolete dingbat." Now, while she may take frequent stabs at Dumbledore, I think it's got way more to do with this kind of clickbaity headline obsession than it does specific malice towards any one person.
If everything goes unfortunately today, you two may even make the front page.
Because Dumbledore is nearly universally revered, so what sells? Pointing out that he isn't. Ipso facto, the life and lies of Albus Dumbledore. And the point I'd aim to illustrate isn't that her practices are acceptable. Like, if anything, I want to make it super duper duper clear that they are not. It's more to the point that she is greedy and self-absorbed, but doesn't really have an agenda other than just selling her stories. Harry is famous and a great hook. She knows this, and so the papers sell like hotcakes. And I have to be honest, I've never been like walking down the street and someone's like, "I got pancakes," and everyone's just like, "What? I gotta have some pancakes." But then I guess I've also never been like in the Hufflepuff common rooms. But it'd be like if we titled this video, "Rita Skeeter has a point?" And you, the viewer, your emotions get all in a Hufflepuff because you're like, whoa, we hate her. Gotta see what crap came up with to argue that point. Then I'll have some choice words for them down in the comments. Yes, I will. But then you get to this part of the video and you're like, oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, I didn't think they could convince me, but now, oh, and they called to the title in the video. That's happening right now. And they validated my feelings. It's all part of the performance. It's art, really. That's what it is. It's art. Send comment. Wow, thank you so much. That made me feel so good. Thank you. Anyway, Rita plays the public, but she's not the prophet's puppet. Which brings about a really interesting question. After we spent an entire book absolutely hating her, Hermione captures her. And we can all breathe a sigh of relief that she isn't out there reporting any more garbage. But think about what she overhears in the hospital wing when Hermione does capture her. Dumbledore and Fudge talking. Harry claiming Voldemort's return. The revelation of Sirius Black as an animagus. Name-dropping Death Eaters and Order members. So much information is on the table for her last bout of eavesdropping. So did Hermione stop Rita Skeeter from publishing trash? Is there a chance she stopped her from publishing the truth? Okay, so what if Hermione didn't catch Rita Skeeter and keep a human adult woman captive in a jar? Normal Hermione stuff. It's fine.
Sort of exciting, isn't it? Breaking the rules.
Who are you and what have you done with Moines Granger?
Well, for starters, here's a list of everything Rita would have overheard on the sill before capture. 1. Barty Crouch Jr. is alive, a Death Eater who broke out of Azkaban, is responsible for the death of 2 people, and has been administered the Dementor's kiss after the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge, brought it into Hogwarts. 2. One of those 2 people that he killed was Barty Crouch Sr., his own father, and a highly popular and high-ranking ministry official, all information obtained by way of Veritaserum at the questioning of Albus Dumbledore. 3, there's a hearsay claim from Dumbledore that Voldemort was behind those attacks and he has now restored his body and returned, a sentiment reinforced by Harry Potter, who returned holding the Triwizard Cup, which was an unauthorized port key with a dead Cedric Diggory. 4, that Harry's scar hurting, something Rita was reporting on earlier that day, is due to Voldemort being close or gaining power. Then 5, Harry names Death Eaters, specifically Malfoy, Avery, Knott, McNair, Crabbe, and Goyle. 6, and this one would be huge, Sirius Black is an animagus and has been in contact with Dumbledore and is at Hogwarts. Then 7, Severus Snape has a dark mark and information about what that is and how Voldemort used them. And then 8, that Dumbledore plans to act of his own accord and split ways with the Ministry and battle what he believes is Voldemort's return, including removing Dementors from Azkaban and sending envoys to the Giants, both ideas that Cornelius Fudge hates. Then 9, Dumbledore dropping names of former Order of the Phoenix members who he plans to recruit again, including Lupin, Arabella Figg, and Mundungus Fletcher, while he actively recruits Arthur, Molly, and Bill Weasley. Pick any of those, any at all. Any of those are huge headlines. Dumbledore calls for removal of Dementors while harboring escaped fugitive Sirius Black, who's a dog. Dumbledore splits from Ministry and aligns himself with werewolves, giants, and Death Eaters. Cedric Diggory, more like Dedrick Diggory, who Harry Potter claims killed Hufflepuff's best-looking student of all time, which isn't saying much. Apologies to all of our Hufflepuff viewers. Enjoy your pancakes. Sorry. Hotcakes. A true journalist, which I'm not claiming Rita Skeeter is, but she's at least feisty and would further vet these claims, and any additional research would yield further truths. So again, I ask, was Hermione's capture of Rita at this particular moment the worst possible thing when the Ministry is just about to take over the Daily Prophet and shift the public mood so severely in a direction that it takes Voldemort appearing in the flesh in the Ministry for anyone to finally believe the truth?
He's back.
In fact, it's Rita Skeeter who will clarify that this is exactly what happens a year later in Order of the Phoenix when she, Hermione, Luna, and Harry meet at the Three Broomsticks. Fudge is leaning on the Prophet. They won't print a story that shows Harry in a good light. It's against the public mood. And this is what Harry is up against for all of year 5. Umbridge's whole thing is basically, Fudge says you're lying and I believe him. Therefore, Dementors and little whinging, hand wounds, no Quidditch, no Hagrid, no defense against the dark arts, no Trelawney. Some of those are worse than others. But by far, the worst is when she forces Dumbledore from the school.
Dumbledore's got style.
You could make the argument that none of that happens if Rita, who again isn't aligned with the Ministry, remember what Percy said earlier? Who wrote this? Ah, of course, Rita Skeeter. That woman's got it in for the Ministry of Magic, said Percy furiously. Would any of it have happened? The question is, how would Rita spin this information? She is uniquely poised as the most influential reporter in the wizarding world and is able to sway public opinion in a way almost nobody else can. Whether she's convincing a blustering fudge who believes Harry has lost his mind at her words, or it's Molly Weasley who thinks Hermione is playing Harry false when Molly knows the kind of reporter Rita is. Who would take the brunt of Rita's article if she wasn't caught? Bear in mind that just that day, she published a different story about Harry headlined, "Harry Potter, Disturbed and Dangerous," in which she talks about Harry's ability to speak to snakes, his scar hurting and him passing on divination because of it, and how Dumbledore has clearly been keeping secrets about Harry. You know how it's every high school principal's God-given responsibility to tell the public every secret from one of their students, right? Hello, is this the New York Times? Yes, from Cave Spring High School, of course, yes. I would like you to know that one student, Jonathan Carlin, has been harboring a crush on one Elizabeth McGee. Yes, no, I just overheard it in the bathroom. I'm saying, print it! You know what? He was right. We got married, and they didn't run that story. But getting back to it, no. Rita doesn't start the day on Harry or Dumbledore's side, and writing an article the very next day with some follow-up juice could really fan the flames for her. Dumbledore calls for removal of Dementors amid crackpot story from Harry Potter that you-know-who has returned. Hogwarts employs ex-Death Eater, ex-cons, and excuses. Hogwarts heartthrob huffles his last puff. Was Cedric too handsome to live? Cedric! I mean, it was Wormtail. You know, he must have been like, oh, come on. Sounds about right though, right? Reinforce her own story from the day before while simultaneously attacking Harry and Dumbledore and quoting the minister out of context. I mean, it's basically her whole playbook in one neat package. However, this particular day has held quite a few rather striking events, not the least of which is the outcome of the heavily publicized Triwizard Tournament, an outcome that features the heavily headlined underdog and fourth champion who is already famous for his early defeat of Voldemort as a baby, winning the tournament, whilst also returning to the front of the third task, not only clutching his trophy, but with the other Hogwarts champion, who, by the way, is dead. Bye-bye! This is news, no matter how you slice it or who you are. Like, anything shy of discussing Cedric's death is the opposite of tabloid clickbait news. I mean, it's just a cover-up. So, what unfolds? Well, I see two possible scenarios. Scenario 1, Rita goes rogue. In a good way. She turns on the Ministry, sides with Dumbledore, and blows the whole conspiracy wide open. And while this may seem unlikely, you gotta remember that Rita doesn't necessarily fall under good or evil. She attacked the Ministry, Harry, and Dumbledore already. She is such a great example of chaotic neutral from like an alignment standpoint.
Me, myself, and I want to know. Not to mention my rabid readers. So, who's feeling up to sharing?
Her only real allegiance is to her own self-importance, and I can't help but think that something happening will always be more interesting than something not happening. For example, Triwizard Champion found dead. Cause of death? Accident! Has way less juice than Dark Lord returns. First victim is Triwizard Champion. Runner-up. That's right! See what I mean? This would cause a lot of ripple effects going forward. Immediately, the Ministry would have to ready its defenses for this new threat. The Order of the Phoenix wouldn't be required to operate in secrecy. Harry's voice being heard could lead to way more support faster, which ultimately means that Voldemort doesn't have an entire year to operate in secrecy and build his regime before entering the public eye properly.
He's back.
Meaning everything from Umbridge, Harry's trial, the attack on Arthur Weasley, Dumbledore's army, and the secret mission to save Sirius is thrown into question. Heck, the knowledge of Sirius being a dog could have its own major ripples. It could lead to the investigation of Wormtail. Sirius could be Defense Against the Dark Arts professor. Instead of moping for an entire year, Harry could be trained by the likes of Aurors. Harry might even side with the Ministry in this scenario, something he's absolutely determined not to do throughout the rest of the series. If Dementors are relieved of their duties at the Ministry, it probably dilutes Voldemort's powers because like Bellatrix and company won't break out. Plus, giants may be more willing to listen if given more of a formal courting that isn't done in secret but has like the full support of the ministry. Then the ministry could also just help straight up guard the prophecy rather than like the order breaking into the ministry to secretly guard it. All in all, Voldemort's secret scheme would be totally upended literally right away. Everyone would know he's back. Death Eaters can't operate in secrecy. Questioning and investigations would probably negate Voldemort's ranks even further. Yes, the Horcruxes, as ever, would be a problem, but this go round, Dumbledore could have Aurors seeking things out. And in the end, the prophecy will still need to hold true, and it will still come down to a way juiced up Harry Potter who has the entire populace at his back. And of course, Harry wins, by the way.
Voldemort.
He's dead! That's scenario number 1. But then there's scenario number 2, where Rita doubles down. She reinforces her disturbed and dangerous narrative and tanks Dumbledore's credibility even faster. Because here's the thing. Fudge is an idiot. Rita knows this. She's been reporting on his blunders and poking around the ministry and going to different trials for so long. It's old news. And while Fudge is high profile, it's not really the takedown of the century. Dumbledore, on the other hand, is.
You seem to be laboring under the delusion that I'm going to, what was the phrase? Come quietly.
In fact, we know this is the tack she takes the moment Dumbledore dies.
Concerned.
Skeeter was certainly quick off the mark. Her 900-page book was completed a mere 4 weeks after Dumbledore's mysterious death in June. I asked her how she managed the super fast feat. Oh, when you've been a journalist as long as I have, working to a deadline is second nature. I knew the wizarding world was clamoring for the full story, and I wanted to be the first to meet that need. So, alternate version to how Rita spins the story. Dumbledore deflects responsibility for the death of a school champion by blaming it on a long-gone notorious dark wizard. If this is her position and she aligns with Fudge, then this causes greater discredit way faster. It paints this image of Dumbledore trying to sidestep the responsibility of Cedric's death by essentially blaming it on a public punching bag, who, by the way, can't possibly be back.
He's not back.
Inside of this, she'd probably continue her position she most previously left off in her overall assault on Harry, continuing the sentiment that the boy who lived has gone mad.
Concerned.
Worst case here is everything we know in Order of the Phoenix, but then also the public might be even angrier, and Dumbledore's attempt to shed responsibility for the death of a student may lead to his removal immediately.
Dumbledore's got style.
Which then means more Umbridge, faster, likely with even more power. Plus, then in a wave of absolutely cruel irony, Sirius would have been discovered as an unregistered animagus, which would likely revive the wizard hunt for him. Plus, the fact that Dumbledore knew this information and kept it from the public and is also in league with Black and also harboring him at the school will also be really, damning information. Spun the wrong way. Even the Death Eater's kiss, the discovery of Barty Crouch Jr. could be its own scoop, but it's already resolved. Escaped inmate from Azkaban prison is caught and administered Dementor's kiss per Fudge's orders. People wouldn't even have time to be afraid of him. The same headline that reveals his existence also confirms his fate. Nothing to worry about, and it makes Fudge look good, while I'm sure the article would go into detail about how Dumbledore failed to notice this intruder right under his crooked nose.
Barty Crouch Jr.
Then, as for Harry naming Death Eaters, well, it's as Fudge said. Everyone already knew that, and now it looks like he's taking a page out of Dumbledore's book to deflect blame to other dark wizards who, by the way, just can't be back. Heck, if they removed Dumbledore and searched the office, specifically the Pensive, they'd literally find those exact same people being accused back when. And it wouldn't take more than a conversation with Draco Malfoy to confirm Harry has beef with all those people from his time at school. I guess the only thing you couldn't really explain away would be Snape's dark mark, but it's just as easy to not mention it at all. Dark marks aren't well-known things. Sirius himself doesn't even know what Harry, Ron, and Hermione are talking about when they bring it up with him in the cave. People just aren't worried about tattoos they've never heard of, and there's not a great way to do anything else with it. It's just not a story on its own. I mean, it absolutely is, but if you don't mention it, then no one's gonna care. Yes, it's miserable, but I honestly think that is the outcome I can most likely foresee. It feels more on brand with Rita, and Dumbledore is absolutely Rita's brand of gotcha journalism's like white whale. So, did Hermione make a mistake by capturing Rita? I don't think so. How about you? Let us know your thoughts in the towel section down below. guys, thanks as always for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a like on it if you haven't already, and ding that bell so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want to see another character who's surprisingly right all the time, it is Trelawney. She's actually literally right about every prediction she makes. Seriously, check it out. But otherwise, Ben, until next time, I will see you in another life, brother.